Welcome along everyone. Tonight we're going to be making gözleme, which is that little Turkish pastry filled with lamb mince and feta. And the first step we're going to be doing tonight is the pastry, and that will be consisting of some self-raising flour, some yogurt and a pinch of salt. And once we get into it, I'll start videotaping the steps. All of the information will be in the description below. Hope you enjoy. We've added our salt to the yogurt and now made a well into the flour, and the yogurt goes into the flour and we mix that through. Give it a good mix. Remember, it's self-raising flour because that'll be the raising agent. And once that's mixed through, start with your hand to turn into a nice dough. And keep on working until you get a nice dough consistency. And about 3 or so minutes later in the bowl, it's now at a dough-like consistency, and we've got to knead it to be able to work the flour. So then that way we get a nice consistency when it's ready to cook. And we're just going to keep on working that. Working. And as you can see, a nice floured base so it doesn't stick. And then keep on working it. And that's pretty much ready to now sit and allow it to rest for about 30 minutes. So we'll come back to it in a little while. And as our dough is resting, now we're going to start working on the filling, and we've got the mincemeat here, salt and pepper. We've got a little bit of tomato juice, which is simply a little bit of the tomato paste which has been watered down. We've got some chili flakes, some cumin, some dried mint, some feta cheese, some fresh mint for the serving, and some spinach. Now again, up to you how many, if you put all of these ingredients in or not, but that's pretty much what the recipe is going to be. So we're going to cook that off now, because we need to cook that and then we need to actually let it cool down before we start to assemble it to cook it off finally. Okay, in a fry pan, we've put a little bit of olive oil, that little bit of garlic, and now we've popped in our mincemeat and we start the cooking process. We cook it until the mincemeat has gone a little bit brown, and we'll come back to it in a minute. Okay, the mince has taken a little bit of colour, so we now start adding the other ingredients. There's the chili, there's the dried mint. Now we're adding the cumin. That adds a little bit of that sort of exotic flavour to it. And then the tomato juice. We add our salt and pepper. A good grinding. Everyone likes a good grind here and there. And we continue to fold that all through. Until it's 2/3 cooked. Almost cooked. And being that it's mince, it's not going to take that long. So as you can see, there's no real red left in there at the moment. So we want to heat that well nice and through. So then that way, when it comes to putting it together into the pastry, or into the dough, you'll find that all you're doing then is reheating it and cooking the final bit. And now we're ready to start putting it together. Here we've got some fresh spinach, which has been wilted with a little bit of lemon juice and squeezed really well. Now you could use frozen spinach, let it thaw, squeeze it out, and do exactly the same. We've got a little bit of the ricotta cheese, and it's got some of the spices in there, a little bit of the chili, a little bit of the mint, because they're going to be the vegetarian one. Then we've got the actual cooked mince there, that's going to be going into, well, that's the one from before, and that's the other one which has been cut into 4. Because this will give you approximately 4 medium-sized ones, but you can make them a bit smaller if you like. You don't want to make them any bigger because then it'll be too hard to handle. And then we're just getting the mint and the feta cheese ready for the meat ones, because they'll be served with that one. So now we're going to roll out and put together. So it gives you an understanding of how to do it. So we'll go to the next step. Okay, on a floured bench, we take one of those 4 pieces and we start to roll it out. And we're rolling. And obviously, always remember the secret ingredient, ladies and gentlemen, the glass of wine. But that's not going to go in, that's going to go into me. Because without the wine, it's a little bit boring in life. And we don't want it to oxidize, do we? Okay. So now this is one of the vegetarian ones. No? Isn't that spinach? Or we're going to do spinach and the mincemeat. That's okay, you can do both if you like. So there's the spinacci. Spinacci. Yeah, roll it. Yeah, put it out. Nice even keel there. Take the feta cheese. There's only one type of feta, and that's Greek feta. Everything else is styled. So this is feta. You break it up. It's a meal on its own here. And then there's your munt. If we're in New Zealand, we say munt. And then the final ingredient, the meat or the mince. And we're just going to cook these up, and then we're going to serve them with a little bit of salad on the side. It's a meal on its own. 2 of these and you're full as a boot, trust me. I mean, unless you're a really big boot, then you may need more. But if you're a normal boot, you'd be right. A little bit of water on the edge, again, just to make them stick. And fold it over. Push it down, almost like making a pasty. And that, ladies and gentlemen, as they say, is that. So that's all ready to go now. We'll put that to the side, we'll roll out another one, and then we'll show you how to make a vegetarian one as well. And push it down on the edge with a fork just to seal it properly. So then that way it cooks beautifully when it's in the fry pan. We've rolled out another one, and now in this one we're going to be putting the ricotta cheese with the spices. So just putting that out there now. And pretty much you can fill it with most things that you like. I mean, these are just, sort of a bit more on the traditional side. But, if you want chorizo sausage, you want to put some other cheeses in there, whatever you want to do. Cooking is all about experimenting. But yeah, these are more of the traditional style ones. And then some more of the spinacci. And a little bit more munt. But again, you can put coriander in there. You can put whatever you feel like. Make it even like a little pizza pocket if you like. Cheese, tomato. salamis, calzone rustico. Bit more water on the side. We flip it over, and then as we did before, we'll do the same with this one. We'll pop it down with the fork, and then we just simply put that onto a lightly greased tray to let it sit whilst we're preparing the other ones, so then we can get them ready for the for frying. But my sous chef here decided to go and do a little bit different. So we then know which one's the actual vegetarian and the non-vegetarian for the people who are non-meat eaters. So that's it. The next one we're going to come back to will be the cooking. We've heated up some oil in a fry pan on a low heat. Got it nice and warm, and now we put the gozleme into the pan and we start to let them cook. Okay, about 3 minutes into it, as you can see if you look closely there, the actual pastry is starting to bubble at the bottom and starting to cook through, but you'll need to lift it a little bit to the side. So as you can see there, the base is looking almost ready. And then we'll just hold it to the side there so you can cook it, because you don't want to have raw dough that you're biting into. So it needs to get nice and cooked all the way through, all the way around. And do the same to the other one. So then that way, as you can see now, the side there is cooked, or it's got to take a little bit of colour, and then continue cooking. Maybe even turn down a little bit, a smidge. And then we continue cooking until they're ready. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is the gozleme ready to eat. And this is looking fabulous. Enjoy.